Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time here on this Thursday night, September the 19th. It's good to have you guys in for another episode of the Prime Time program. We are talking about a must-win game for the Tennessee Titans tonight. The upcoming opponent, the Green Bay Packers, and the rare Week 3 must-win for a team that is trying to avoid that 0-3 hole. We'll get into it. You'll hear from DeAndre Hopkins. You'll hear from Titans quarterbacks coach Bo Hardegree. You'll also hear from O-line Jesus, Bill Callahan, the man tasked with trying to do what seems to be the impossible, which is currently fix a Titans offensive line that has been giving them issues over the course of not just the past two games, but the past two seasons. And we have a lot of good stuff to dive into together. Before we get started, need you guys to share this broadcast around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. Wherever you are spending your time with us, we appreciate your participation. You're also going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins, his level of participation, his level of ability at this point, and how important it is for this quarterback to try and get right. Because, of course, we know that this is as much about Will Levis as it is any player on the team. It is more about Will Levis than it is about any player on the team. But he can't do it alone. It's not the only thing that's going to get them off the schneid. He is, of course, a big part of all this. And of course, he is going to have to do this against a pretty tough defense in the Green Bay Packers. Jay on Twitch says, here for back to normal Buck before potential catastrophic damage control Sunday evening. Well, I can't tell you what Sunday night is going to look like on primetime. I can't tell you what your football team is going to do during the day on Sunday. All I can do is try and tell you how I think this team needs to beat the upcoming opposition, and that is what we are going to dive into together. Ann Herndon says, Buck, what would you say if someone had told you in December of 23 that the Titans fired Vrabel and lost to Malik? Well, one of those things happened. One of those things has yet to. If both of them happen, I quit. No. I am both. If you lose to Malik Willis, if you lose to Malik Willis, why don't we cross that bridge when we get to it? Because I don't know what I'm going to do if you lose to Malik Willis. And I think that there are a lot of emotions that I would have to process in real time before deciding whether I would even do that to you. Maybe we just take the night off primetime, because I don't think you guys would be at all useful if you drop down 0-3 to your former third-string quarterback. Anyway, share this broadcast around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, wherever you're spending your time with us here on the Primetime program. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share. You can share now to public. That's in the bottom left hand of your screen. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're there. We would be grateful for your participation that way. Looking forward to talking about this game with you guys. It's a big weekend of football. It's a big weekend for the Tennessee Vols in Oklahoma. It's a big weekend for the Tennessee Titans, because the conversation at 0-3 as opposed to 1-2 is going to be a much different one, I can assure you. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by the fine people at Zen Sports. Plug in the promo code ATOZTN. Get up to $100 on your no-danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply in the Zen Sports app. TrueMav Fitness, TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free. Tomorrow is Arm Farm Friday at TrueMav. I'm excited to get back into the swing of things at TrueMavFitness.com. Your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at TwoRiversFord.com for more information. They will get you right in the car buying process. Okay. Titans and Packers coming up on Sunday. Pretty interesting game because of the Malik Willis component. Now, do we 100% know that Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback on Sunday? Let's just begin there. And the answer to that question is no, because Jordan Love has returned to practice. Jordan Love is limited in practice, and they are playing mind games as they should. Matt LaFleur today saying that they would make a determination on Jordan Love 90 minutes before kickoff, which is, of course, when teams have to disclose their inactive and active player list. So you're not going to get any clarity unless somebody breaks the Jordan Love, Malik Willis starting quarterback news, probably on Saturday. That feels like a Saturday evening type of leak to have to address. But in the absence of that, you're either dealing with a quarterback in Jordan Love who is good but is hurt, or you're dealing with Malik Willis, who is not hurt but has yet to prove that he's good, even though he's coming off a very efficient performance against an Indianapolis Colts team that is terrible right now. And you want to make sure that you give the guy proper respect. Excuse me, I'm about to cough. But with everything happening right now with Malik Willis, with the Green Bay Packers, and with what we call BTS, Battered Titan Syndrome, that a lot of you guys are experiencing, having to face your former quarterback on Sunday, it's a legitimate concern to see whether or not this football team is capable of stepping up and getting a win. So let's start with your biggest takeaway, your biggest key to the Titans' success on Sunday. What is the biggest key to the Titans winning a football game on Sunday? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch is how you can interact. Got people like David Burns who are watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. Always cool to see where you guys are chiming in from, because I just assume most of you live in Middle Tennessee, but this is an internet show. So I have to remind myself that we are broadcast all over the place, and we're happy to have you guys from wherever you're watching tonight. With this game, it is going to be, it's the same old song. Now, the same old song would be coming in and talking about a loss on Monday morning or a loss on Sunday night in the case of the Tennessee Titans. Ann Herndon from Traverse City, Michigan. How about that? See, this is always interesting to me to see where you guys are watching from. I can't figure out why I all of a sudden have to have this coughing fit, because this is really driving me crazy. The fact that I have something going on with my throat right now, but I'll do my best to get through it with you guys. Excuse me. Performance is suffering as of late. Need to step up and get better, because I've had 2 nights off of primetime, so I want to make sure my voice is working correctly. Anyway, biggest key to the Titans having success on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. Trigger says no turnovers for the Tennessee Titans. It is a pretty big deal for this team, the way that they rate that they have been turning the ball over without getting takeaways as well. And that's probably where we're going to start. Keith Hill says he thinks that this is a get-right game. Well, that remains to be seen. Your team has to get right before it can get right in a game. But the question is, what is the biggest key to the Titans beating the Packers on Sunday? It's your Two Rivers Ford take. As always, it's presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at tworiversford.com for more information. They are the best over 4 decades here in Middle Tennessee, serving as a locally owned and operated dealership. Nobody offers you the same kind of customer service, care, and quality American-made Ford vehicles that Two Rivers Ford can. Go online to tworiversford.com for more information. Biggest key to success on Sunday, it starts and ends with the quarterback, and just so happened I talked to the quarterback coach, Bo Hardigree, earlier today.
Situation for that, and it's just keep coaching him hard. He studies, he puts everything into it. He's in a good spot right now, and so I'm happy to go see him play on Sunday.
Some of those things are instinctual, and he kind of talked about needing it to be second nature to know those situations. Is it difficult to instill instincts in a quarterback mid-season while you're also trying to go through all the other responsibilities?
Yeah, it's the big thing is never make a bad play worse. If the guy's not open, and you feel like sometimes a sack's the right play, sometimes a throwaway is the right play, and then there's other times we make great plays. So it's instilling that in him, and we just keep talking through, and next drive mentality, next play mentality for him, because he's got to go back out there, and that's my job.
So how do you balance coaching that stuff out of him, but not coaching the improvisational stuff that does work?
Yeah, because that 3rd and 1 that he scrambled and everybody wasn't open and he made a good play, and it's just like those are the baller plays are great, but if we can't protect the football, they don't matter. And so that's that's a fine line, but you gotta make that the number 1 priority.
Game 1 to game 2, how did he do as far as like not getting too sped up within the scope of the offense?
Yeah, first game a little fast. Everybody was a little fast. Loud environment on the road. I think we were settled. and he's just kind of found that balance with his timing, his accuracy, kind of moving around a little bit, but just taking the completions, playing point guard, and then every once in a while you'll get a shot, he'll dial one up, we'll throw it down the field, attack the deep part of the field.
Have you guys talked to them?
So, long story short, right? It's the same old story. It starts and ends with the quarterback. And there are, again, I know that people don't like saying that Will Levis played better than he did against the Bears because he did the same boneheaded thing with the turnover, this time a fumble instead of a pick six, right? But you have to, as a coaching staff, identify and say, all right, he made a bad thing. He did a bad thing again. But was he better this time around? And are we seeing incremental improvements of him playing the quarterback position beyond the maniac turnover, right? The answer to that question is yes, which is the kind of direction that you want to be heading in. Now, if Will Levis plays a clean game and the Tennessee Titans still lose, does it matter? Well, no, ultimately not. They have to go out and win this football game. But he is, of course, the biggest thing, the biggest individual thing that dictates whether they win or whether they lose, right? It starts and ends with the quarterback. Now, keys to success, turnovers is the biggest thing. And I wrote about this today at A2ZSports.com. You can read it. I had Quandre Diggs on the radio show, the starting safety. He was really, really good, by the way. We had some fun with him because he yawned at me during the middle of an interview, which maybe I'm boring. Maybe I need to spice up my questions or something like that. He yawned twice in the middle of an interview. I really felt that second yawn in my soul, so we had to break things up a bit today. If you heard that interview, you know it was a lot of fun. But as a defense, it's not just about Will Levis, right? Will Levis isn't the only reason that they lost that game. They had another punt blocked. Can't have that. You have a defense that has yet to create a turnover through 2 games in the NFL. And I'm not pinning everything on the defense because the defense appears to be really, really good, guys. But turnovers, you have to have them. This is a club, and I know it's a different coaching staff, so Denard Wilson does not get, this slung around his neck. They had 14 total turnovers last year. That was second worst in the NFL. And through 2 games, we are still not seeing the Titans defense create a turnover. They have secured 1 turnover as a team on the year, and it came via special teams, right? That Velus Jones Jr. fumble in Chicago that Julius Chestnut was able to recover. I think that there is a lot of different elements to how this football team can get better, can improve, and go out and win a football game. And those are a couple of examples of places that they need to start. Now, when we talk about the offensive line play, when we talk about bounce back, we'll get to the offensive line play later because, of course, the offensive line play matters here as well. But Thursday Night Football between the Jets and the Patriots is currently ongoing, and I want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to watch this game if you so choose as we begin in the first quarter. A to Z Sports Prime Time is presented by the wonderful people at TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. Only the best workouts, only the best path forward, only the best coaching staff, the best workout facility at the best cost. TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free, personal training, group fitness classes, whatever you want. TrueMath is there to help you achieve your fitness goals, no matter what your level of fitness is. TrueMathFitness.com for more information. Okay, so defense, turnovers. Will Levis, no turnovers. And then, of course, to just to round it out with all 3 phases. So help me God, if this team hasn't punt blocked in 3 straight games, I would quit if I'm Ryan Stonehouse. That I do mean. I make jokes about me quitting. If you lose to Malik Willis on Sunday and I have to come in here and talk more sad boy football with you after you've lost to a quarterback that I've seen proven quantifiably is not capable of playing quarterback at a starting caliber NFL level yet. Doesn't mean that Malik can't, but I have not seen him do it yet. And don't tell me that he did because he beat the Colts on Sunday. That was a game plan very much designed to hide/protect Malik Willis. And also, the Colts couldn't stop the run. So why would Malik Willis have to do anything more than he was tasked with doing on Sunday? I know Malik Willis is beatable. I have watched this player for 3 straight off seasons with my own eyes. I have seen him be unable to play even backup level quarterback play in the NFL. Now, has he improved? Absolutely. But we understand that Malik Willis has his limitations. Titans fans are all too familiar with it. So you cannot lose this football game to this particular player. You know that, I know that, they know that, everybody in between knows that, everybody except the Green Bay Packers, who are very much coming in here with the intention of winning a game. So Levis playing more cleanly, no punts blocked, and defense needs to create a turnover. Those are the most important keys to this football game. Now, DeAndre Hopkins, talk about where we've started negative, or we've not started negative, but we've talked about the negatives that have cost them and the ways to rectify them. So now let's talk about a positive, because it's not all bad. It's only week 2. Your season's not over, and there are things that you can build upon. One is the quarterback. You can legitimately build on the quarterback. If he stops with the manic decision-making, you're probably in pretty good shape. The other is DeAndre Hopkins, who's not on the injury report anymore. In fact, he seems like he's maybe not the best version of himself, but he's coming off some of the best practices that he's had in a calendar year, according to wide receivers coach Tyke Tolbert. Strong, powerful, fast is the way that Hop was described in practice. Of course, I went to practice today. There's only so much of practice that we're allowed to watch, so I'll take the coaching staff's word for it. And again, the fact that he's not on the injury report. The only player not practicing due to injury right now is Tajay Spears. And in fact, you know what? I don't think I saw an injury report from earlier today. Oh, there it just came in later than I anticipated. Yeah, the only player, Luke Gifford. Luke Gifford did DNP because of a back injury. Tajay Spears did return as a limited participant on the ankle today. So DNP for Tajay yesterday, limited participant today. Jeff Simmons and L'Jarius Sneed both listed as full participants. But the only player not at all practicing due to injury today was Luke Gifford. So as healthy as you could possibly be, I know it's week 2 and you expect to have health, but if you're a Titans fan, you probably know how hard that has been to look at an injury report and feel confident, to feel like you have the advantage because of injuries, because of the way that this team for the last 3 seasons has suffered at the hand of the cruel NFL injury bug. So with all of this, DeAndre Hopkins coming back makes a huge difference. And there were plenty of opportunities, it looked like, in last week's game that Hop could have made plays. It's just whether Hop was the next player in the progression for Will Levis, whether the pressure got to Levis too quickly before he was able to make plays for Hop, whether Levis himself didn't see certain situations with DeAndre Hopkins. There are more opportunities to get Hopkins involved. And we talked to DeAndre about that today.
I'm not sure. I'm not an offensive coordinator, so I can only speak from a player standpoint. So I really can't speak, from an offensive coordinator's perspective on the player.
So let's flip it. How do you feel like you've gotten to know him and gotten to know into this offense so far?
I think gotten to know this offense very well. Tyler Boyd has helped a lot being here, and just the time I had off, I was studying the playbook. It's a unique offense. So, I think I'm picking it up very well.
Where's the biggest place that Tyler's been able to help you guys collectively, whether it's Will, whether it's you, or
a lot of things. Obviously, there's still things that he's learned as well that's new. But just, the verbiage, I would say, how things are called. I think that's kind of from a football standpoint, something that a lot of people understand, like the verbiage of it.
Have you ever been in a spot?
So that's DeAndre Hopkins speaking earlier in the locker room about the different ways that Tyler Boyd has been able to help him. Just because the training camp portion is over, right, does not mean that they have a total and complete grasp of the offense. And that's what DeAndre Hopkins is trying to get through. That's what Will Levis is trying to get through. These players and coaches are still in real time learning what one another is capable of, what one another is not capable of, and trying to build upon that collectively. And so you're hearing Hop kind of give voice to that in a meaningful way. Now, DeAndre Hopkins only had 1 catch. He's only had 1 catch in the past 2 games, of course, to date. But like I said, if you go back and watch some of the dropbacks where there were opportunities, you can see that Hopkins is available out there to make plays. So we seem like we're on the verge of seeing some real progress in that direction. A to Z Sports Primetime is made possible by the Nashville Water Taxi. How about this? Told you guys about that this week. This is going to be available to you again because there's another home game upcoming. Your game day parking experience is going to completely change with the new stadium construction. The Nashville Water Taxi, brought to you by the Pontoon Saloon, is now the best way to get to and from Nissan Stadium this season. It's a round-trip ticket to and from all Titans games this season. It departs from the Lock 1 Marina, 1505 Lock Road here in Nashville, and drops guests off at the East Bank downtown dock, literally steps away from Nissan Stadium. It's just a 10 to 15-minute ride. Parking passes are $25 a car. If you pre-book, it's just $15. Vehicles larger than 2 axles may inquire for availability and pricing. And then the round-trip water taxi ticket itself is $20 per person. It's a great value and a fun way to get down to Nissan Stadium this football season. Go to pontoonsaloon.com for more information to get the game day water taxi, which is one of the most unique things anywhere in the NFL, one of the most unique tailgating experiences anywhere in the NFL as well. So the question becomes, how many snaps do you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to get in this game? There are a lot of different ways that you can look at this, or rather, how many catches will DeAndre Hopkins have on Sunday? Because he's only had 1 catch through each of the first 2 games. Now, it's not like there's been high volume passing. It's only when they get in obvious chasing situations that you see them passing or dropping back to pass. It completely changes the game when you lose leads the way that this football team has, because you can control more of it. You've been able to control more of it. And then when you make boneheaded mistakes and decisions, you start to see that stuff slip away. You start to get in more obvious drop back situations, put more pressure on Levis and the offensive line, and then you start to spread the ball around a little more. But are you spreading the ball around a little more if you've got an offensive line that's giving up the most pressures in football and having to play an immediate drop back passing game? Jeffrey Toledo says, Love is playing, Buck. Why are we talking about Malik Willis? Please answer that, because we don't know definitively. Matt LaFleur said that they wouldn't make a determination on Jordan Love until 90 minutes before the football game. And so if Jordan Love is out there, that will be interesting. If Malik Willis is out there, that will be interesting. Either way, I know the morning show talked about it this way. Which would you rather play, a healthy Malik or a banged-up Jordan Love? And the vast majority, it sounds like, because we did the same thing on the radio show today, vast majority, and including myself, if I was a Titans fan, I would rather play a healthy Malik Willis, because that player has yet to prove that he can hurt you the way that Jordan Love has proven to be able to hurt you. Now, can he do it on a bad wheel? I don't know. It's a significant injury that he's trying to come back from in a short period of time. But there is nothing to indicate that Malik Willis is definitively starting, nor there is anything to indicate that Jordan Love is definitively starting, other than you making assumptions unto yourself, unless you have some inside information that you would like to share with the class. But in the absence of that, we will continue to talk about both of these quarterbacks, because the vibe is still the same. You still have to go out there and force them into a drop back passing game, the way that teams have forced you into a drop back passing game, because either you're dealing with a quarterback on one good wheel, or you're dealing with a quarterback that hasn't consistently shown that he can beat you from the pocket in Malik Willis. So there's a lot of different elements of this, no matter who you're playing, that are still applicable to how you go back and beating this team. Now, I'll say that DeAndre Hopkins is going to play. Let's see. He had over 25 snaps in this past game, which was scaled up from 17 snaps in the first game. I'm going to say that DeAndre Hopkins is going to play about 35 snaps on Sunday. And I'm going to say that Hopkins has 3 catches for 42 yards. 3 catches for 42 yards for DeAndre Hopkins would be a reasonable expectation. I think the opportunities are going to be there. I think Hopkins is feeling as good as he has at any point this season. So why not take advantage? You still trust him. He's still DeAndre Hopkins. He's still got the catch radius of a 2-car garage. Sometimes you just got to throw it up to him and see if he can make you right by just putting it in his general direction. We will find out whether he's capable of doing that. Your offense would be infinitely better if they were capable of doing that. So I'll go 3 catches for 42 yards at this point. Tom says, why would Green Bay risk it? They don't need this game. What do you mean they don't need this game? Why don't they need this game? This is absolutely a game. I mean, beyond it being a football game, a regular season football game, and all regular season results matter, they absolutely need this football game. The entire AFC South, I'm curious why you don't think they need this football game. The entire AFC South plays what 2 divisions this year? The AFC East and the NFC North, which means what? Well, beyond the AFC component of this, because of course conference wins will help you determine playoff positioning. What's going to help you determine seeding? Probably tiebreakers. if you play the entirety of the same division and you beat the Colts, and you beat the Packers after the Colts lost to the Packers, then what does that give you? A tie-breaking advantage over the Indianapolis Colts when it comes to potential, and neither of these teams seem capable of making the playoffs in week 2, the Colts and the Titans, but it will help you. The same is true for the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers beat the Colts. Say the Detroit Lions don't beat the Indianapolis Colts in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps what both of those teams will get right. Detroit 1-1, right now Indy 0-2. All of these things matter for the purposes of playoff positioning and seeding, so don't tell me that why would Green Bay risk it? They don't need this game. This is absolutely a game that has some level of import. It's not the most important game. It's not a divisional. It's not an NFC North game for them. But, again, tie-breaking implications makes this a meaningful game. To ignore that would be foolish. So, DeAndre Hopkins feeling as good as he has, ready to get rocking. We'll see how that plays itself out in real time on Sunday against the Packers. A to Z Sports Prime Time is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Don't sell without the intel edge that you need to succeed, from the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, GaryAshton.com. All right, bounce back. Right now, 0-0 tied in the first quarter between the Jets and the Patriots in New York. We'll see how this game plays itself out, but you just lost to the Jets, so your team needs a bounce back. Who in sports needs a bounce back most this weekend? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll talk about it together right after. I remind you that Zen Sports is your place to bet on all the football this season. Promo code ATOZTN, up to $100 on your no-danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call the red line, 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. Who needs to bounce back? The offensive line needs to bounce back.
Well, I thought we took a leap there, a big leap. Coming off the Chicago game for JC being his first game, I think that he learned quite a bit. The set angles that he took were a little shallow. I thought he let a little bit out there that he could have covered up at times, but, man, he made a great adjustment coming into week 2. We worked hard. He was diligent about it. And still have a long ways to go yet, but he's really been focused and has spent a lot of time in the post afternoon meetings, just trying to figure out how he can get better. Spends a lot of time with Dan and obviously with the veteran guys in the room, but just really wants to learn. And he's making these incremental jumps and steps, and it's good to see. And it's good to see it come to fruition last week against the Jets.
With Nick. The way things went for him on Sunday, are most of those things that caused him problems correctable, or are you going to have to get him some help with more tight ends and chips and things like that?
We think it's really correctable. I think there are times in the game where he underset it. There are times where he overset. His timing, is still being worked out. He's still learning different angles. He has to learn to use better hands. I think that's all a part of being a lineman, and I think it's a little bit of a rough start. I thought he recalibrated, came back, bounced back strongly mentally. And every week, he'll get better. He'll improve. He's diligent about, the things that he's got to work on. We spend an enormous amount of time going through all the errors that he's had and the positives too. So, it's just a challenge for him, to really just master the techniques, set the edge, control the rusher, a little bit more balance, a little more posture, things of that nature, okay, that are like small nuances, but they make a big difference.
How much of that do you attribute to him missing time with the knee in the offseason? Because you can be in the classroom all you want, but you still have to go out here and do it.
You're right about that, but there's no excuses. He's got to be able to take that jump. I thought, coming back through the preseason when he was playing and getting ready for the opener, I thought he was, starting to show that rate of improvement. Then, of course, when you get against live competition in week 1 and 2, it's totally different. So, we'll see this game. He's got a great challenge. The Packers are a really good front, Gary's an excellent rusher. You look at Preston, he'll be over on that side as well. They're really, really well trained. Groove, they know what they're doing. They've been together for a long time. So it's a great challenge for us. They're technically sound. They're advanced. Because of the experience that they have now. And with the change of system, they're just letting them loose or cutting them loose. Very similarly to what they see with the Jet, and the Bears, their type of defensive lines where they're a one-gap Jet team They're just trying to rush and crush. It's a different persona that we're seeing on film than we've seen in the past from them.
For that Packers front, it's clear that they've had an emphasis on contain in the last couple of weeks. Do you guys expect them to come after you a little more than they have?
I think, well, we don't know a lot about them, but we do know that, they do have a good pressure package. That we do know. We know that we're ready for anything and everything, so it really becomes a rules game for us. And what we're going to have to do is really set the pocket, anchor the pocket, make sure that we expand it so we don't let the pocket collapse or obviously dissipate. But that's a great challenge for us. They're a really good front. The line stunts are excellent. They run the TEs, the ETs. They run every game known to man. So we're challenged there when we get into third down, along with that pressure package. So we definitely got our work cut out for us. It's a really good front, really good system, that they changed to just to cut those guys loose a little bit freer.
You've been developing offense.
That is the man they call Big Coach. That is Bill Callahan, the Titans offensive line coach. Titans offensive line needs a bounce back. They have allowed the most pressures of any offensive line group through 2 seasons. We've got a touchdown drive for the New York Jets. 8 plays, 73 yards. Alan Lazard looks like he scored the touchdown here. I looked down and missed the touchdown. Just a quick flare pass out to the sideline to Lazard, and he's able to sneak by the Patriots defense for the first score of the game. So lead Jets heading into or continuing this first quarter, about 4.5 minutes, less than 4.5 minutes left to play. Bill Callahan talking about the offensive line. I love, I was thinking about this today. I love old coaches. I love old coaches, and I love talking to assistant coaches. It is the most valuable information that I think we get at any point in the week because these guys are dealing at a 5,000-foot level with the players that we're talking about. They're dealing with technique. They're dealing with them every day in the meeting rooms. These players spend more time with their position coaches than they do anybody else in the building, including the head coach. So Titans offensive line has allowed 33 total pressures and 4 sacks of the quarterback through 2 games. They need a bounce back. They need to be better. Bill Callahan is preaching patience. I don't think that's unreasonable, but patience only gets you so far, and these guys need to perform on Sunday. So we will see how this goes. D-Mac says Rodgers' first touchdown as the Jets quarterback. What are you talking about? He threw 2 touchdowns against your football team last Sunday. Like not 6 days ago did he throw 2 touchdown passes. As a New York Jet. Those were his first touchdown passes. What? Did he throw a touchdown pass in the Niners game? I think they had a rushing touchdown against San Francisco. So yeah, he literally just threw 2 touchdown passes against the team that you root for last weekend. Not his first touchdown pass. Maybe his first touchdown pass as a Jets quarterback at home. It is let's see. There is a tweet from Evan Kaplan. That's the first touchdown pass for Aaron Rodgers in the first quarter of a game since Christmas Day 2022. That's a crazy stat. First touchdown pass for Aaron Rodgers in the first quarter of a game since Christmas Day 2022. 634 days since he threw a touchdown in the opening quarter of a game. That is a crazy stat. Maybe that's what you're trying to get at, D-Mac. But either way, need a bounce back. Titans need to win. If your football team doesn't win on Sunday, I would not advise tuning into the primetime show. I don't tell you guys to not listen or watch me, but I will be going scorched earth on your franchise. I will be calling for the franchise to be shipped out of Nashville. I will be calling for ownership to sell if you lose to Malik Willis specifically. If you lose to Jordan Love, I will probably grant you a bit of an exemption. But if you lose to Malik Willis on Sunday, when next we speak, you're probably not going to like what I have to say about your professional football organization. So that's going to do it for us tonight. We appreciate you guys spending time. Go check out the Quandre Diggs interview today. He was really, really good with us on the radio show. Tune into the radio show tomorrow. Coach Dave McGinnis will be on. That will be a great time had by all. And then it'll be time for another football game, another home football game before this team has a Monday night date with the Miami Dolphins in a little bit of AFC competition. I will talk to you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!